And here is me just doing my part to spread the word for anyone who's in the medical field. There's up to the minute really important stuff coming out. Dr. Cameron Kyle Siddell, a New York intensivist, running a COVID ICU there, was the first to release to the general public a plea to spread the word that high pressure ventilation was actually quite possibly doing more damage than good, and that what these people had was oxygen failure, not respiratory failure. You can read this if you like. It's no fault of the doctors because this is a brand new type of illness. This is the this podcast here, really critical. It has the 3 intensivists discussing trying not to intubate and the changing protocol that will definitely save lives. They're referring to people that walk in with really low oxygen, yet they do walk in and can still talk. So no need to intubate them early and put them at risk of trauma to the lungs. So I'm talking really fast here. Then another doctor was pleading to spread the word about the fact that the zinc, along with the malaria drug, is having incredible effects. So you can search this, Dr. Anthony Cardillo, and the 3 videos here explain the mechanism and why and how it's working. And then this New York intensivist respiratory doctor has also been finding some patients improving, receiving the malaria drug, due to, she thinks, reduced viral load, which is consistent with what Dr. Anthony is saying, that it's helping to prevent the virus from replicating using the combination of the malaria drug and zinc. So the zinc interferes with the replication of the virus, and the malaria drug aids the zinc in getting into the cell. This video is really great if you want to get really into the science part of it, and if you're a doubter. Anyway, that's all for now. I'm going to do a whole video on the medical side of things as a former ICU nurse and now a lay person who wants to be able to try and explain it in less medical terms, because it's been a fair bit of work trying to decode, like, for me, I can understand most of what they're saying, but I don't want to assume that the general public with no medical background is going to be the same. So just in case, I've been working on that front as well. Bye for now. Stay well, everybody. Take care. So someone sent me this movie, and it's just some random guy. Well, actually a random guy recording a random guy, but he mentions the patent numbers and that this is going to soon be taken down, and it's been taken down repeatedly. And sure enough, it was taken down really quickly. I went back 2 or 3 days later trying to find the patent numbers there, but fortunately I recorded it, and so I was able to fact check this video. I'll just show a little brief part of it, so that this is what started the whole query into the patenting of the virus.
That was up, but they've been taking it down. Just a little information for y'all.
What's going on? Now that the coronavirus is actually affecting my family by shutting schools down and shutting down schools across the nation, something just since the beginning hasn't seemed right with this coronavirus. There's actually a patent on the coronavirus.
Yeah, like,
that figures because the drug companies, I wouldn't put it past them. But then I looked a little further.
Anyway, so that started the query, but it also made me wonder, like, why? I mean, this guy, he doesn't look like an expert. He doesn't speak like one. He's got no credentials. Why? What's the harm in people like knowing about these patent numbers, I guess, was what kind of sat with me a little bit funny. And what's with the effort to continually, take it down? Okay, I'm really going to try and keep this brief. I'm not very good at that though because I'm pretty detail oriented. Anyway, so I did, out of that clip of random guy, filming random guy, I did find the information here on the patent. Here's the US one. You can pause this if you want to read it over. Application was granted 2018-11-20 for the US patent. Next, the European patent here, and it was granted 2019-11-20, so exactly 1 year later, just before the news came out about this big pandemic. Here is the 47-page PDF detailing the European patent. It is the Pirbright Institute. Again, pause it or contact me if you have trouble finding this for yourself, if you're even interested in fact-checking it, of course. You may just call me a conspiracy nut, but here's what I managed to find, and but it takes hours. So, now I found this patent. Oh yeah, this is also, it's 65-page PDF, Coronavirus, the Pirbright Institute. Again, pause it if you need to. I'm trying to keep this brief because I know people are very busy and overwhelmed these days. So the Pirbright Institute, now this is just something I don't know how, I don't know how charitable operations work. Research Institute, Surrey, England, dedicated to the study of infectious diseases of farm animals. Forms part of the UK government's Biotechnology and Biological Sciences Research Council. It is a government-funded research institute, a registered charity. Now, I'm curious about that. I mean, I know even charities have to have money, but it's just interesting that they're patenting, and from what I can tell, like there's slight alterations to the virus in order to, figure out how to combat it. But I am not a virologist, so I'm not going to. I'm just finding that interesting, but I don't know enough about it to say anything. So, and I found this when I searched Pirbright, that immediately the name Gates did come up, and fact-checked, he didn't fund Pirbright. So, did I pull up that article? So there's a few links here that mention the Gates Foundation, our major stakeholders, which, by the way, the Gates Foundation is on that list as a stakeholder. So I'm not sure what the difference is between a stakeholder and somebody who just donates money to you. So this article, Bill Gates didn't fund, comma, we don't know what, Pirbright. Did Gates Foundation, does Pirbright Institute own coronavirus patent? Funded by Bill Gates and patented the novel coronavirus and will profit from any future vaccines. So I guess that's what they're saying, that the people that they're calling the conspiracy nuts are claiming. So this article is in opposition to that thinking. Believe it or not, coronavirus strain is patented by the Pirbright Institute, which is partially funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The article begins. Now, conspiracy theories about a connection between the Pirbright Institute and Bill Gates have been circulating online for months. So, connection between the two. Well, if they fund them and if they are a stakeholder, there is a connection. Now, you can draw any conclusions that you want from that, but that is a fact. I mean, if you want to claim that there's no connection between people that fund each other, well, I mean, I'm not saying it's diabolical, but there's definitely a connection. So I don't think that's really responsible from a journalistic point of view to deny that there's a connection. Okay, you can pause this if you're interested, but it said, it says it does not hold a patent on any part of the novel coronavirus using the current COVID-19 pandemic causing. This is more about the patent. Again, I'm not going to read through all of this right now because I'm trying to keep it brief, but you can pause this if you're interested. Now, on from there, here's their website. Our major stakeholders, this is okay, better. Pirbright Institute, major stakeholders, so WHO, European Commission, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, so they're on the list. So there's a connection, and like I said, I'm not saying it's diabolical. Now, it wasn't this one, it was a different screenshot. Yes, I followed this from their website, okay. Pirbright begins testing new coronavirus vaccines on animals to help combat COVID-19. So before, in the other article, it said that they weren't working on COVID-19 now, or anything to do with people. And maybe that's possible because, you know, we did have it reported in the mass media outlets. I mean, Google it, you'll find it everywhere, that COVID-19 originated from animals in a market in Wuhan. So it's possible that this COVID-19 vaccine that they're working on has nothing to do with the COVID vaccine that crossed into humans. And we know that, of course, that, virologists know that the virus mutates very quickly as it travels, you know, even from person to person, because the replication of the viral RNA, sometimes mistakes happen or it has to evolve. That's my very poor lay person's understanding of how it works. Now, as for the WHO, they are, you know, a trend-setting health organization for the world authority. They are, and they their largest funder being the U.S. government, and the second largest funder being the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So, I mean, I can't click through all these links or we would be here all day, but you're welcome to pause and follow through and fact check that that the US government is the #1 funding and that Bill and Melinda Gates are #2. So, World Health Organization, coronavirus, COVID-19 donors and partners. Who says thank you? Okay. All right. Donor. #3 donor? Oh. There's some money. Bill and Melinda Gates. So there you go. They do fund the WHO. They're admitting it themselves. This is their website. Again, not that it's diabolical, but it's a connection. And Bill Gates has been very busy in the media. Again, this is Pirbright Institute, just a little article that they have in here. Now, why do I ask so many questions about media reporting? Because I guess I believe money talks. And I think that's what you have to ask yourself is, do you believe that money talks? Do you believe that there's any greed in the world? Do you believe there's special interests that may be, exploiting because of greed certain opportunities in the world? Do you live, who said that? I think it was Wayne Dyer. The fundamental question, do you live in a friendly or a hostile world? I mean, in my opinion, it's both. But because I believe that there are greedy people in the world, and because I believe also that money talks, very much so. It started back, I would say, with this great book, which was 1988 released and made into a movie in 1992 called Manufacturing Consent. It is on YouTube, so search Noam Chomsky's Manufacturing of Consent. And in there, I'm just going to read this here to you. So as of the filming of Manufacturing Consent, released in 1992, it quoted that in North America there are 7 major movie studios and more than 1,800 daily newspapers, 11,000 magazines, 11,000 radio stations, 2,000 TV stations, 2,500 book publishers, 23 corporations own and control over 50% of the business in each medium, and in some cases have a virtual monopoly. They are Bertelsmann, Capital Cities, ABC, Cox Communications, CBS, Buena Vista Films, which is Disney in brackets, Dow Jones, Gannett, General Electric, Paramount Communications, Harcourt Brace, Jovanovich, Hearst, Ingersoll, International Thompson, Knight Ridder, Media News Group, in brackets Singleton, Newhouse, News Corporation, in brackets Murdoch, New York Times, Reader's Digest Association, Scripps Howard, Time Warner, Times Mirror, and the Tribune Company. Okay, so, and I saw that documentary when it first came out, and that always stuck with me. I remember being quite alarmed, and I started to say, well, you know, do businesses exist to be a charity, or are they there to make money? And is it possible that if only 23 corporations own the media, that we might possibly be receiving biased news one way or the other? And in my own mind, I thought, yes. I've always been the type to ask questions, and a lot of questions, and I'm a very curious person. And a line from a movie, The Bridges of Madison County, stuck in my mind, and in the last days it's been coming up in my mind a lot, which is, it must be nice to be living in your head with Peter Pan and the Easter Bunny. And that's how I would feel if I wasn't continually questioning, especially any sort of authoritarian moves. So, I mean, that's just me, and you're perfectly welcome to call me a complete nut if that's what you think. But, you know, just as Chomsky pointed out, he said, you know, sometimes, like in times of war, totalitarian measures make sense, but that we should never not question whether or not they make sense and whether or not they should have that kind of authority. That kind of ultimate and absolute power needs the utmost scrutiny. Moving on from there, if you do want to be up to date on health stats and other general stats in the world, worldometers.info is a great site. They have a specific section on coronavirus. So that's up to, like, this will be updated like at least every day, at the very least, if not more. So, and here it's still showing that 96% of cases that are tested are in mild condition. And that's only tested cases, because only the more severely ill in most countries are being even tested, which means there are a number, well, I'll say Italy estimates from 3 studies that the number of infected people maybe 10 times higher than what the tested variety value shows. So, of course, that significantly impacts mortality. And that is something that is being discussed in this article by Dr. Matt Strauss. He's an intensive care doctor. And in here, he has a number of great links that you can follow. So one of them, he mentioned Iceland as being one of the highest per capita tests available and or testing. And I heard that actually from an Icelandic fellow as well, that they're testing as many people as they can, even totally healthy people. So they've confirmed 1711 cases, and there have been 8 deaths. 9 are in intensive care. So essentially, out of the confirmed cases, they have a 0.46% mortality rate and a very similar rate of serious infection. So do with that number what you will. And then this is just, there's a lot, it's just interesting that a software genius is being interviewed in the media. He's been very vocal. So it's not a conspiracy. He's there, and you can easily find it, and you can listen to everything that he has to say, for yourself. I don't know if this is true. He predicted a coronavirus-like outbreak in 2019. Again, I haven't fact-checked this one, but you're welcome to if you're interested further in this. But he definitely was involved with the company or organization that has the patent on it, which the final approval was at the end of November 2019. Anyway, folks, you tell me, should I put on my tinfoil cap? Or, is there enough for people who are interested in questioning to keep doing so? And just let's keep an eye on the media. Let's keep an eye on all the new developments, and let's participate. We all have to be well informed in order to participate properly in a democratic society.